So let's go through a recap of readiness for action planning. Difficulties in decision making are one sort of a red flag to the career counselor that indicates a client is not yet ready to move to action planning, and that the counseling process maybe it needs to return to an earlier point, to an earlier phase. However, there are other factors that might derail the process. The counselors may move too quickly, for example, or make assumptions or interpretations for the client that, whilst may appear logical and intuitive in terms of the client and their stories, the client has not had the opportunity to fully clarify and integrate this into their working knowledge of themselves. They have not yet sort of related with these suggestions or assumptions that the counselor might have proposed. In this case, the client might agree with the counselor and seem to make a really well-informed decision for themselves and even agree to an action plan, but then lack the motivation to carry out the plan just in a few days after that sessions. They may begin to identify issues with the plan or seem to be stalling in moving towards carrying out the first steps. On the other side, clients who are ready for action planning are more likely to have a strong positive working alliance with the career counselor. So paying attention to your relationship, to your therapeutic relationship or working alliance is really important. Paying attention to that throughout all phases of the counseling process is really important, okay? Ensuring that you are genuinely attending to, listening to, and you're open to that client and their story without sending a signal that you're judging or that you're coming up with assumptions or presumptions about the client and the context of their life and complexities. These would really contribute to improving and enhancing your therapeutic or working therapeutic relationship or working alliance. Let's talk about developing the action plan. Obviously, in developing action plans, it's important to be able to identify clear long-term goals and their associated broken down short-term goals. For most clients, the action plan is only one part of a longer career journey. A client's goals must fit with the unique situation of them and also be constructed in such a way that the client perceives them as being realistic and achievable and not out of reach. Okay, so therefore it's really important to facilitate the client in process of identifying concrete and attainable goals, which is why this SMART model is useful when identifying and setting goals. A 6-step procedure has been proposed for developing action plans, and this is kind of based on the SMART model. The first step is to indicate what will be accomplished using positive language. And by positive language, it means that we go with sentences such as I will, I can, I do, I should, I want. And the second step is describing actions using verbs ending in ing, like writing, calling, researching, and so on. In this stage, you and the client together agree on a couple of initiatives that might be helpful. Start with the present and be clear. So that's the third step. Be clear and specific about what is going to happen after the client leaves the career counseling session. Which one of those initiatives are the priorities to be followed by the client right after they leave the office, and what needs to actually happen, what sort of steps need to happen before you meet next time. The fourth step is that you want to carefully work through all the details of those initiatives, paying particular attention to the time frame for achieving each task. Okay, so it's important that you're not overwhelming clients with a tremendous amount of things to be done in a week. And it's also important to balance, the load, that it's not too easy or too simple or too short of a task that the client feels that you're underestimating their abilities. The fifth stage is that you want to redirect focus and highlight those areas that are within the client's control. You don't want to include things that are beyond their control. Finally, you want to use examples and metaphors that fit with the client's experience and their language and the way they talk about themselves and their life. In developing action plans, as in the entire career counseling process, the fundamental work of the counselor is to use purposeful questioning to guide that reflective process. Just like the conductor metaphor, if you remember, and in particular, the counselor need to ensure that various details have been considered and mapped out. What, when, how, all those kind of things that are important. So aside from the specific details of when and how, it is also important to explore what other supports might be needed, for example, to ensure success at each stage of the action plan. For example, you might want to talk with your clients, about who else needs to be involved. Okay, remember some of those questions that we talked about, the case of Maria a few slides ago. Or you might want to know when this involvement begins. If, for example, a partner is supposed to be involved with your client in doing some sort of a research or networking, it's a good idea to also know when this involvement begins. Sometimes this might involve sending the client onto another person, another agency or another institution to provide the relevant input that you can't provide. And finally, it's important to be aware of what you can and cannot do, the limits of your knowledge, the limits of your expertise. Be aware of them and ensure that your practice is within those boundaries. For example, in the case of Maggie, some questions might be, when will you make contact with the friend of a friend? When will you be available to meet the person for your interview? What can you ask this person during the interview? How could this interview contribute to your next steps? Once the planning has been completed, it is really important to put the plan on paper in the language of the client. There are some example templates for using tables and charts for bringing the plan on paper at the end of this week's PDF file that accompany this mini lecture. While putting things on paper, it is also very important to consider how to evaluate the success of the client's actions. So you may want to record their actions, the events that they experienced, and review their progress. And also take note of all these while you're putting things on table or putting it on paper. Only a well thought out and articulated plan that will be put into action can become successful. It is not so difficult to create a goal or a plan, but acting on it isn't always as straightforward. So that's why we need this much preparation. Providing opportunities for clients to talk through their goals and plans, to write them out, to rehearse them, and to visualize themselves achieving them will also help consolidate an action plan and make it more achievable, feasible. Using the personal goal setting and planning template at the end of this module is a good way of supporting clients for thinking through and clearly setting out a plan. Generally, encourage clients to openly share their ideas with significant others. Help clients adjust their goals and plans by considering other factors that may impact on the carrying out a plan or reaching a goal. It is also important to help them recognize when they have made progress toward achieving their goals or implementing any part of the plan of action. Celebrate these moments. Reinforcements are really essential to clients' ultimate success. Ensuring the longer-term success and independence of the client can be helped by having a backup plan or alternative options identified and planned out. So this not only provides the client with a sense of a fallback position, let's say, a safety net, but it also insists and encourages a sense of need for flexibility when approaching a problem or issue. This demonstrates good problem-solving skills not only now, but for the client in the future, and gives the client a sense of more than one possibility. They start to realize their abilities for planning and being flexible with their plans. This is really important for hope and ownership of a sense of agency and power, which is fundamental, which is one of the fundamental underlying keys to success in any counseling process. Finally, let's emphasize that it's really important to build in support for the client's career choices. This may mean emotional or social support, helping clients make connections with people and expand on their own networks and professional contacts. We are relational beings, and if our plans are embedded within a sense of relating to others, it becomes more meaningful and more pursuable. From a systems perspective, one small change in one part of the system has the potential to impact many other areas of the system. It is therefore important to help the client to explore what the potential impacts might be in other areas of their life and in relation to other significant people in their lives if they pursue such a career goal or such an action plan, if they work towards the goal that they have set and planned for. Setting goals and making action plans also requires careful consideration of the broader factors that may impact on the client's capacity to achieve their career goals or the goals they expect from the career counseling process, both positively and negatively. The concept of Forcefield Analysis that was brought forward by Lewin, it can be a helpful tool. Forcefield Analysis explains that situations are maintained by having an equilibrium between two forces. Those forces that drive change and other forces that resist change. And it says that for change to happen, the driving forces must be strengthened, while the resisting forces need to be weakened. Using a Forcefield Analysis tool involves the client brainstorming all the factors that they can think of which may help or hinder them in achieving their goals. Factors might be about themselves, about their significant others, and the broader environment in which they live. It can be helpful to get them to also rate each factors in terms of its potential influence, which this allows them to gain a realistic sense of the power of each factor, the importance of each factor. Here's an example tool you might use with a client, like this template, and the process is akin to SWOT analysis, which is typically used in business and organizational settings and is about exploring strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You might find the SWOT SWOT framework a useful strategy, or the Forcefield Analysis, depending on the individual client you're working with and the way they think about their life, their career development. You can consider their language. And when I say language, I don't mean whether they speak English or another language. By a language, we're referring to particular use of narratives and forms of expression a client relies on for telling you about themselves, and the way they use metaphors or tell stories of their life. Again, using either one of these templates with the client and exploring each of the segments together, you help them to more thoroughly consider their current situation as well as the future and the things that may impact their action plan. So going through a process like this then allows you and the client to consider the need for additional steps to be added into a plan in order to manage any of these factors out, factors that come out of the SWOT analysis. For example, adding in a step that draws on a strength or opportunities, like creating an online portfolio that your client can share with prospective employers, or some other actions that mitigate potential threats. Okay. A client may identify a person that a person they know who might be able to provide them more additional information or resources or to help them work towards their goal. A step can be added in which they contact the person and arrange a meeting, for example. A client may also identify that staying motivated has sometimes been difficult for them in the past, so especially when a goal seems too far in the future for them. Okay, you can then explore with them what helps them stay motivated, clearly articulating all of those things, and then identifying the smaller and shorter term goals that can be included in the plan in order to provide early opportunities to feel a sense of agency, a sense of achievement, and reduce that sense of demotivation. Okay, so other tools and techniques. What will be key to successful goal setting and action planning is the client's knowledge of their own strength, their abilities, their values, and the skills that they have, and how they have used these so far, how they have used these successfully in the past, as well as how they may relate to their future and what they have in mind with their action plan and goals. We focused on strength-based practice as well as narrative career practice, narrative career counseling, which was embedded as a constructivist theoretical framework in our work in lecture week 9. Recent research on these approaches to counseling shows us how important reflections and self-understanding and self-awareness is, and in particular how important it is for the clients to have a clear understanding of their own strength for a successful working life. Many tools and techniques beyond what was discussed in Module 9 and generally in this course can be applied to support clients in identifying and focusing on their strength, focusing on their skills, telling stories of hope, stories of possibility, stories of ability and skills. Also, you might recall the discussion of moments of flow exercise from our previous module on phase 1 of career counseling. There is an excerpt that you can read that identifies such moments and helps you identify such moments for the client or with the client to connect with their experiences when they have been using their strength. In the action planning stage, it can be very helpful to do this exercise with clients who are feeling disheartened or stuck. Perhaps they have identified some potential barriers, or they may simply be finding it very difficult to make decisions. Once you have identified those skills, those areas that are considered as a strength or possibilities and values or abilities, you can work with the client to apply these to their current situation so they are empowered, they're facilitated to tell new stories, to construct new stories about self and their careers. Also, there are other helpful possibilities in terms of sentence completion tasks and metaphorical signposting that I refer you to read the PDF that accompanies this week's mini lecture, this video. All the best until next week mini lectures.